Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The Swedish heavyweight Otto Wallin and his promoter Dmitry Salita are looking to capitalise on Tyson Fury's win over Deontay Wilder, and Wallin is also calling for a rematch with Fury. So the pair, they fought in September 2019. It went the distance. It was more rough and rugged than people expected. Wallin put up a good account of himself, opening up a couple of cuts and having success in the fight against Fury, more than people expected. But he still went on to lose the fight. So you could argue on the back of the Fury and Wilder fight, with Wilder having such a dismal effort in there against Fury, that Otto Wallin's stock is up by default. And certainly that's an angle that Wallin and his promoter are looking to sort of play on. So you can see here on screen, it says Otto Wallin wants a Tyson Fury rematch. The headline, brand new WBC champion Tyson Fury wasn't the only fighter whose stock rose dramatically with his dominant 7th round stoppage of Deontay Wilder Saturday night. So what I'll do, I'll get to a few quotes here, and then also onto another press release, also from Dmitry Salita. He's talking up his other heavyweight, Aptidav Tevet, in the connection with Sugar Hill Stewart. And then I will get on to some thoughts in general, because Otto Wallin, he'd lost that fight against Tyson Fury, and besides a win against Adrian Granat a couple of years ago, it's a bit thin. But I believe some of what is being said at the moment is more for profile to promote his upcoming fight. And you could argue his stock has gone up a bit, but he needs to get wins in the win column to really get in the conversation, because Salita and Wallin are sort of effectively saying he's an elite type heavyweight right now. But let's hold on that, because I think that might be sort of taking things a step far based on the limited work at a high level we've seen of Otto Wallin. But first to the quotes here. So he says, "If anybody still doubted me, now they know. My fight with Fury, of course, a much better fight, and I showed that I belong as a top contender." And then his promoter, Dmitry Salita, neither Vladimir Klitschko or Deontay Wilder, two of the greatest heavyweights of our time, could do to Tyson Fury what Otto Wallin did. And Salita goes on to say, Otto, at 29 years old, is only going to get better in every facet of the game. He's on his way to becoming a dominant force in the heavyweight division. And Salita, he sort of concludes, Otto didn't get lucky in that fight. He has the right style to always give Tyson Fury big problems. We're going to keep him busy and winning while we wait for Fury to decide to settle this unfinished business with a rematch. I want a rematch, and this time I will finish what I started, added Otto Wallin. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing, I think it's a bit overplayed. I mean, Otto Wallin did have a good fight with Tyson Fury, but doesn't mean we need to see the rematch. And it doesn't necessarily mean that he's a top-level contender at the moment, because at 29 years old, his resume is awfully thin. He was cherry-picked for that fight with Tyson Fury, came better than advertised. He is a tricky southpaw with good boxing skills, had success against Fury, but ultimately he still lost the fight. And we haven't cited him since, and he does have a fight coming up on March 28th against Lucas Browne, which, let's face it, Browne is pretty rinsed these days. It's a showcase fight of sorts. They didn't manage to secure a big fight off the back of the Fury performance, which I'm sure they would have been disappointed about. But all this talk of, if anybody still doubted me, now they know. My fight with Fury was, of course, a much better fight, and I showed I belong as a top contender. Styles make fights and performances make fights. And I think a lot of people felt in that fight against Otto Wallin in the first few rounds, Tyson Fury was caught awfully flat. He looked a bit listless. He didn't really look like he was engaged in the same sort of manner that he was for the Deontay Wilder fight. And Fury, he was better for those rounds, the tough rounds where he had to go through some adversity because of the cuts. But he still managed to corral Otto Wallin and win most of the rounds in the fight, to win the fight pretty comfortably in the end, although he didn't look fantastic in doing so. And Fury, to some extent, is one of these guys who often can rise to the level of the opponent that he's facing against. And it might have just been, as Salita sort of explained, a bit of a tricky style clash, that Otto Wallin might always look good against a Tyson Fury. But that doesn't mean that Wallin has proven anything in the heavyweight division beyond winning a few rounds against Tyson Fury. I mean, let's cut to the chase of this. He hasn't done anything to warrant the sort of talk that they're going on about. I like Otto Wallin. I said ahead of that Fury fight he was going to come better than advertised, and I was pleased that I was right on that, because I do rate his skills and talent. But just living off a bit of hype from a fight you lost to Tyson Fury, you need to do better than that, and you can't sort of ride on that forever. You've got to win in the ring. And this Lucas Browne fight, it's just a tick over fight essentially, and if he doesn't look good in that, people will question, well, hang on, didn't this guy give Tyson Fury a good fight, and he's facing this past prime 40-year-old version of Lucas Browne who's pretty slow and rinsed at this point. So he needs to look good against Browne, otherwise the questions will be asked about, well, where's his place in the heavyweight division? And I don't think we really know that yet, because there's not enough data points to really give us. The last couple of years he's been relatively inactive. He fought Adrian Granat, it was 2 years ago now, and that was a different performance to the Fury fight. So, styles do make fights and performances make fights. So I think some of this is overblown, but sure, some people will think, yeah, his stock has gone up. If anything, he's proven that he's a quality fighter, but where his place really is, I don't think we've established this. Not the sort of, top contender level, not top 5, 10, top 10, not even top 20. We've got to see more than just a losing effort to give us a real barometer of his talent level. But there's another press release here, and this is involving Aptidav Tevet. This is a recent signing from Dmitry Salita. He advanced to 20-0 and 1 draw. This was he's already his second fight of the year. This was a fight in Russia. So he beat John Napari in a couple of rounds. But I was more interested in, they were trying to play up the angle of Sugar Hill Stewart, because Tevet has been in the Kronk gym for a little while now. Apti has gained world-class skill since we've been working together, said Sugar Hill Stewart. He is definitely ready to become a force in the heavyweight division in 2020. And Tevet says he agrees with Stewart's assessment. His time at Kronk has made an even more formidable force. I'm happy that my training at the Kronk gym has been paying off. The goal is to continue to score knockouts, and that is what I plan to do as I continue my march to a world title. So his promoter Dmitry Salita says Apti showed impressive power and skills in dominating his undefeated foe. He's ready to beat the big names and will be a new star in the heavyweight division. It's really hard to say, because he's had such an under-the-radar career. Who knows really how good this guy is at this point? I mean, he is in consideration for a video that I've sort of done a few notes on for, pretender or contender, because 20 fights, unbeaten, but we really haven't seen hide nor hair of him. How good really is he? But they are looking to capitalize Dmitry Salita with his fighters off that Sugar Hill Stewart angle and Tyson Fury with Otto Wallin fight. But overall, I mean, we'll see how good these guys are, I'm sure, in the next year or two. But I think some of this just is hype. Some of it really hasn't been proven out yet. And I'm happy to be proven wrong on some of these things. But I haven't got a true beat on how good Aptidav Tevet is. And I don't think I've got a true beat on Otto Wallin as well. I've been following him for a while, but he's fought so infrequently in the past couple of years where he needed to be fighting more that it's hard to tell. He looked good in spots in that Fury fight, but, let's not over-exaggerate how well he did. What do you make of it? Did his stock go up? And if it did, where did it go to? Because that's a big question for me. Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.